Think about episodes of a different world, the legacy. What were some of those episodes that you feel like really like stuck with you, right? And there's so many, but if you could just name like a few, which ones would those be?
Of my favorites, certainly all of the episodes where we had either Patti LaBelle or Diane Carroll favorites, and those were always master class weeks. So, for me, having, I didn't study acting classically. I didn't. So for me, I was, for whatever talent I have to perform, my training, I watched everybody else. So when you have Glenn Turman, Mary Alice, Lou Myers, and particularly Lou is a stage guy. And if you watch Mr. Gaines in all those scenes, lots of actors, look at scripts and go, bullshit, my part. Bullshit, but my part. Lou Myers was back there giving Mr. Gaines life in every scene he was in. He was watching you. He was doing something. He was busy all the time. So just having Ron O'Neal and Richard Roundtree and Harold Sylvester and all of these folks around, amazing. So those were always big time events. Patty would cook for us and, it was spectacular. I talked recently about the episode when Lena Horne was there. And, these are the occasions when you meet words that are overused like legend and icon. And when she exceeds every expectation of who you want her to be, and she's more than that. And it was the experience where, anybody might come to our set on any given day. Mike Tyson would come by, Denzel came by, Wesley Snipes came by. The week Lena was there, all of a sudden I turn around and here comes Ossie Davis. Then here comes Burt Reynolds. Then Roseanne and Tom Arnold. Like, what's going on? Like, we just heard Lena Horne was here and we're coming to pay respect.
Oh, wow.
Like folks they heard on the lot. They left what they were doing to come and bow down to Lena Horne. Then you can take any of the other episodes with all the other music guests, whether it's In Vogue or Gladys Knight or Criss Cross, Heavy D, Tupac when he was on.
Piccolo.
Our show was a perennial top 5. And, like I said, we finished number 2 behind Cosby. Until our 5th season, we finished number 4 ahead of Cosby. But we were the number 1 show on television one week that I know for sure. And that was the episode where Blair Underwood came to guest star as a young Army serviceman who was about to go off to the Iraq War. And it was a brilliant episode. It was very dramatic. And our episode aired on a Thursday when Bush number 1, George H. Bush, had given Saddam Hussein a midnight deadline to comply with the U.S. demands or there would be serious consequences. A Different World aired that night, 8 p.m., Eastern, was the number 1 show on television, and we started bombing Iraq that night. That episode was written by Dominic Hoffman and Jasmine Guy.
Wow.
Then you can take the wedding episode, which is iconic television, everyone in that breakup and just a quick tidbit on that. One, Kadeem hated that episode.
Really?
Hated it.
Why?
And he'll tell you that he just didn't like, he said, as a man, I'm not going to go break up some man's wedding. I'm not going to do this. This is, I would go to her the night before.
Right.
And in watching it, there's this really compelling scene where Dwayne goes to see Whitley the night before, and Debbie just watched, because we just watched it, Debbie shot it like film. It's beautiful. It's not typical 4-camera angles. It's very much a film angle. And so he got the scene he wanted, but Debbie's like, honey, we're going to do this wedding. This is about to happen. And so it was against everything he wanted. So he's just mad and he's pouting the whole time. So when it came time to do it, he was so just in his feelings about it, he forgot his lines. So when you see him go, honey, will you take me to whatever? Baby, please. please, right?
Yeah.
He was yelling to please because he couldn't remember what he wanted to say, and he knew that wasn't the cue. And he was like, Jasmine's not going to say her line until she gets the cue, so I just need to tell her, please say something, because I don't want to do this again.
Yeah.
Let's get it over with. And that was what was driving him, and that's the take they kept.
Wow.
It was not what was written. Now, all of that was improvised. And
how many takes did they do of that scene?
One.
Just one?
That's it. That's the one. They didn't do it again. They're like, we got it. Because, and I mean, it was a big set. It was everybody was there.
That.
And it just, whap. That's the one they kept.
I remember that, man. At what point do you think actors, you do a series like that, and obviously like Kadeem, who's directed, Lisa Bonet, at what point do you think you go from, I am an actor, cast member, second, third season, to then that different mindset to where, like you said, Kadeem is like, grappling with a scene because it's not something that's natural to him?
Oh, we were empowered the moment Debbie Allen stepped on stage.
Wow.
So there is, and oftentimes there's a Chinese wall between the writers and the performers. Mm-hmm. Debbie was like, we're not going to have that. At the end of every run through, every day, the writers would come down to the stage and then they would sit and talk with us, and we'd have a note session with them. We'd tell them what we thought, they'd tell us what they thought, and then they would go back and write. We get it in the morning. But we talk to them every day. So that kind of empowered us. Plus, we had multiple times, probably by the third, fourth season, somewhere around there, where we all wrote suggestions of storylines we liked, and some of them made it. Right?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So, I want to say I think my storyline was Lou Meyer, but Mr. Gaines found himself in financial trouble. Mm-hmm. Colonel Taylor was being used for an all-white golf course where they were going to make him a member just so they could have their quota. Mm-hmm, that storyline made it. The fact that Ron had a crush on Whitley, that made it. I could, all these made it in. And by the way, just this other, going backwards for 1 second, the same week of the wedding show for Jasmine, she said people kept coming up to all week. Isn't this exciting? You're getting married. You're putting the dress on. You're doing it. And Jasmine was like, y'all know this ain't real, right? I ain't really marrying this man right here. She's like, this is, and she said it was just so annoying because in real life, she and Dominic were breaking up.
Oh, poor Jasmine.
So she's dealing with both emotions at the same time. Yeah. She breaking up with one guy, marrying the guy she loved, but breaking up with the guy she really loved. So there were all these things going around. And it's just how those, I tell folks, just like, Jaws became the movie it is because the shark didn't work.
Right.
This became the scene it was because they didn't listen to what they wanted and they got what they needed. So there you go. So there's that. Oh, and I'll give you the last episode, my favorite, which is mine and Kadeem's favorite, Cats in the Cradle, when Ron and Dewayne go to the football game and get into a racial fight.
Yeah.
And it's told Rashomon style, our version, their version, and then, what the truth is. And that was with Dean Cain. And it was Dean's first job on television.
Wow.
Yeah. There was so many, from the Wayans brothers to Blair Underwood to Halle Berry to David Allen Greer. Like, everybody was on our show. Candy Alexander was on our show.
Candy's amazing. Her work is just, she goes unnoticed, man. She's a powerhouse.
Roscoe Lee Brown, Roger Guinevere Smith, Eric LaSalle, Whoopi Goldberg, the AIDS episode, Tisha Campbell was on. I mean, everybody did guest spots on our show. So it was magnificent in that way.
Now,